Hey there, this is J.R. Burgess. Welcome to this episode. I'm here with Harry Massey, inventor of the NES Energy Systems, and I'm just grateful to have him on. He's going to be at the Cash Practice Success Summit in September. As over 14 years, Harry invented his system. He was bedridden for years to autoimmune and fatigue conditions that forced him to look outside the box, partner with other scientists to create a model that is energy healing, that is truly transforming hundreds of patients' lives. And he's helped implement and share this model with practitioners all around the world who are looking to have natural solutions and alternatives to drugs and surgery to help our patients and redefine healthcare. So welcome, Harry. Thank you so much for being on today. Go ahead and tell a little bit, everybody. I just did a short little intro of a little about your story and how you came.
Sure. So I'm 42 now, but when I was 21, I was a very, very keen mountaineer. I ended up falling off Ben Nevis, fractured my spine. Then I ended up with glandular fever. This all in the same year. And basically by the end of my final year of university, I ended up totally bedridden with chronic fatigue syndrome, which I had for a further 8 years. And anyway, that was a huge struggle. Obviously, went through the conventional medical system, didn't get too far. Then started getting into the more integrative and nutrition and dietary approaches. But for whatever reason with me, the biochemistry end wasn't basically working, and so I started looking deeper and came across this field of energy medicine, and was fortunately introduced to this scientist called Professor Fraser, who had basically been mapping out the energy of the human body field. And he was also the first person to set up an acupuncture college in Australia that became part of Melbourne University. And basically he sort of mapped the energy fields beyond the normal Chinese meridian system. And when we hooked up, I basically had this idea, because I couldn't travel and visit. If I'd been able to visit a clinic like yours, that would have been brilliant. But basically, I was totally bedbound. I couldn't travel, couldn't drive a car. I'd have to beg my parents to drive me anywhere. So I basically had this idea. Well, wouldn't it be amazing if you could have a system that could work out what was wrong with you from home, so you didn't have to travel? And ended up coming across this scientist. We ended up talking on the phone. Unfortunately, he liked this idea of creating a home wellness system, and I didn't have a clue how to do it or how to get myself or anyone else better. But he had a very good track record of getting people better. So we hooked up. It's a very long story short, so I know we don't have too long. But basically, we ended up doing about 2.5 years of R&D together to make the first system where you could basically put your hand on a little device like that, and it would give you a scan. You can tell the health of all your organs and mental states and that type of thing, all of your meridians. And then basically, it will pinpoint the root causes of things, so that you can then go on to restore your energy. And then we have a couple of ways of doing it. One is through what we call infoceuticals, which is information imprinted into the memory of water, which is a whole cutting edge science of how you can basically imprint information into structured water. And we've had great success with that. Actually, it's been pretty interesting because our systems in the cloud, we've been able to collect all of the data in its entirety. So basically every single practitioner's client's scans, and we also ask them, they also fill out questionnaires so we can track what's going on with their health. Basically, 82% of all of our clients have had basically a positive result, which on average was a 22% reduction in their symptoms in the first 30 days. So that's pretty nice, because that's over 5,000 clients. So it's not a small study per se. And that's probably a little intro of me.
That's great. That's fascinating. And that's what kind of we've shot for in the regenerative, is that we can heal 80% of people non-surgically. And you're doing that, basically on the flip side with their energy, autoimmune disease. I was shocked. I've had a lot of history of injuries and Lyme's disease, fatigue, working so hard the last 10 years to bring our purpose forward. And I couldn't believe how accurate it was. Everything that I know is going on with mine, I would be pinged at the 4 dots and the reds and how it had to get addressed. So I'm so excited to be starting the infoceuticals and really try to basically reset naturally how I'm doing in addition to all these other cutting edge treatments. It was truly, exciting to see that I have solutions to what I need, and I've been working so hard to get past. Can you tell me a little bit about a practitioner that maybe has used your system and how they're helping their patients and what it's done for their functional or integrative practice?
Sure. I mean, we've got a number of different types of practitioners who use it. Probably a good example for you is so we have this clinic in Australia that's called the Zap House, which basically a lot of the time they use our My Health device, which is it's like a combination of TENS, PMF, and what we call information medicine, where you're putting the information in onto a signal to then trigger a healing response back. But yeah, anyway, within that clinic, they basically they generally specialize in people with all sorts of like spinal degeneration problems and that type of stuff. It's a portion MDs, a portion physios, a portion chiropractors, quite a lot of nutritionists and naturopaths, but it's pretty much across the spectrum. But it's generally those who are open to energy medicine and sort of seen beyond some of the limitations of just pure biochemistry and want to push the envelope a bit further.
Okay, so that machine that I know the practitioners do that in that machine, but sometimes the patients, can they buy that machine after the practitioner has prescribed it?
Yes, the practitioners sell the machine on so that clients can basically be scanned and helped from the comfort of their own homes. So it's a whole telemedicine remote model. So the company will drop ship the scanners on behalf of the practitioners. Then they just remote scan, and the basically a scan is just received a bit like in your own email inbox, and then you just do a remote coaching session and interpret the scan results, and then the company will drop ship all of the infoceuticals in the post.
Gotcha. So if and I know you're speaking on how to deliver the telemed medicine model with yours, which a lot of practitioners are looking to do. How do they create, either practitioners or their team members that can deliver that telemed care, especially in regenerative medicine? A lot of people fly into these clinics and then they go home. So this is a leadway, a gateway into where we believe healthcare is going. And that's why we're fascinated to have you here. We had one speak on it last year, and this was a hot topic. Can you give us a little insight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, it's actually the direction our cloud platform is going. So, our whole thing is to do as much as we can for the practitioner, so that they don't have to do it. Because today, like you use separate scheduling software, just like we're using a separate Zoom meeting for the consultation, and then obviously there's all these different blood tests and all this type of stuff. Our whole model is to basically make it as easy as possible to do it from just one place. So all of the scan information, all of the client scheduling is done automatically, and also a lot of the health habit and health education part we also do. So we have something that we call Breakthrough Bioenergetics, which a really amazing practitioner called Nikki Gractrix has built out, where she's basically educating on all of the diet aspects, exercise aspects, actually a lot of circadian rhythm, light, sleep, etc. All of the really core sort of basics that as a practitioner, you could just repeat all the information in a coaching session, but yeah, exactly. Why bother? Yeah, automate it. So we've basically automated the client education part, and so they're all drip fed that through email and all the videos in the experience, and it's all personalized because it's linked to the scan.
Based on their scan, yeah.
So it's all based on the scan. So if it says sleep is an issue, up will come the sleep video that they can watch during their leisure outside of the coaching call. So yeah, that's really our type of thinking.
And that's critical. That's what we talk about is those that familiar as the 5 pillars of practice success. And that last is that integration pillar. How do you automate your time? How do you stop saying the same things over and over? How do you make money without just your one-on-one time in the room? And how do you have either health coaches or other practitioners have these models of care that is fit into their lifestyle? So you can still travel, you can still whether you're having a brick and mortar, have the ancillary opportunity of telemed, touch those people that can't come to you all the time. So fascinating. That's exactly the direction we need to bring our practitioners to, is understanding how to do that. This is going to go out to our list of not just our practitioners that are coming to the summit, but those that also want to learn much more about this. So you have potentially, when I'm emailing out on this, is something, I know you've done documentaries or series where you're educating practitioners on this new line of medicine. Any research or information?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, one of the films we made is called The Living Matrix, which you can find on the livingmatrixmovie.com. Yeah, it's free, and you can basically learn all about the body field, about infoceuticals and how that whole thing works. And then our normal company is neshealth.com. And again, actually, yeah, if you opt into there, we also have a whole bunch of videos and information about the company and about the products.
Good. So we have 2 questions that end every interview when we're talking about our health evaders innovating health and wealth. It's pioneers just like you, Harry, that are truly having to innovate in order to create wealth in our society and change the healthcare crisis that we're faced. So there's 2 questions here. The first one is, when you were up and going, is these practitioners are really good at getting medical skills and going right there, but they don't always realize, or maybe they do realize fully, is the challenges it takes to pioneer medicine, to run successful practices. So we want to hear, what was your biggest challenge and when starting? And then where you're at right now of basically what are you've helped thousands of other practitioners, what are your next level challenges to continue to grow in? So as you're going, what hurdle did you have to overcome to get where you are now?
I was bedridden with chronic fatigue, with no money, with no work experience, let alone business experience. So my challenges were infinite. And the thing that got me going, basically, because I was at absolute rock bottom, I had really no lower to go. So I just thought, well, what harm is there but to try? And honestly, I just think, if you have faith, or if you have faith in that purpose, the universe really does do amazing things and can pull you out of the most extreme circumstances. And I really was in extreme circumstances, and this whole business got built. So
that brings chills to me, because that's exactly what I've gone through with the Lyme's disease, multiple injuries. As you know, I just ruptured my Achilles tendon again, but I feel the purpose is so large that this is what I was called to do, and it's part of my calling through my faith and my source. And I know I wouldn't be where I am today without those 2 things. So that right there.
Yeah, it's so strong, faith. I would just, you see it all the time that people have doubts. Well, what if? Just forget the what ifs. Just if your faith is unmovable, unshakable, somehow the cogs of the universe or life it just changes, and this path will appears before you, and on it goes. If you ask me about our future challenge, well, I mean, the challenges are all they're all in the mind, and it's all that faith question again. So with us, so we invented this system originally with this professor. He died 6 years ago, and that hit us pretty hard in a number of ways. We're over that now, but really the next phase for us is to actually just really keep going on this pioneering mission of decoding the human body fields. We've made a system that's wonderful, but there's so many more components to the body field to decode. Like there's health information in your voice pattern, in your pulse, i.e. from Chinese pulse diagnosis to make a device that can read that properly. Also, there's photon emissions you can get from your fingers, which is generally known as GDV technology, but it's only been looked at in a certain way. And so we want to make a next level scanner that's picking up voice, pulse, and photon emissions from the skin, and then and decode all that. And so it's it's this whole new world of machine learning and all of that, which I'm a virgin of. So it's a whole other set of challenge to work out how to do that, and expensive. So which is always the faith nerve-wracking bit. No, just do it. The answers and the will appear as we go. So I would say that's my future challenge.
Those two answers both gave me tingles, Harry, because the one thing that I try to tell everybody, and it's the first, is we have a rigorous application program, and I only work with a certain amount of people, is at the end of the day, if you're not incredibly good at your skills and trying to get that outcomes, then we're going to live incongruently with what we sell. So even you talked about your next level problems, it was continuing to get better at delivery, and that was the first thing that came out of your mouth. So thank you, and that's what I tell everybody. You're never going to sell yourself the best or feel great about what it is if you're not great at functional medicine, if you're not a great coach, or you're not great at those. We tell people before you go open your practices, you got to have the right skills. You got to be able to transform people's lives. And then when you do have that, and you get those results, you feel good about it, then it's all about how do I get this into as many people's hands, because I know it can change lives. So, that's the foundation of what we teach here, is get the skills.
Yes.
Don't go practice on your own if you don't have those confidence skills, or you have something that doesn't work yet. But I'm not making anybody feel bad. We're all on our journey, and where we're due there.
Well, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, and yeah, exactly. It's never complete. It's like our system is not complete. I'm sure your system of clinics is not complete. It's just you just keep going deeper.
The reviews are lab. It's we're constantly working the integration. We're relentless on how do we get this thing to work together? How do we market to get it better? And that was my biggest pain, where we just talked in our other interview, is I started selling medical fitness out of the gates, and I had to stop selling it right away. And that's why we created the mastermind, because the people we're implementing weren't having the same success. I didn't realize it was me and Dr. Baumgartner's talent, and that was actually 4 steps in our pillar thing. Is we can't add medical fitness if you don't have the right vision, clarity, understand your skills, you don't have the right business metrics, you don't have the right marketing and story and the ability to drive patients forward. Even though we believe exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle medicine is the key to changing and redefining healthcare, we had to get doctors first. So that's where I feel so much better selling our mastermind. I know the massive value in that. And I love adding the medical fitness when a practitioner's ready and has a solid business system, but that's outside their control. We got to get that practitioner successful first, because the medical fitness, you're relying on somebody else to be good. And we're relying on you to manage and oversee them. So thank you so much for being so, driven to making things right. And that's why we're so excited to have you here. So if you all are looking for telemed options, to look in the human potential of how to heal the body without drugs or surgery, we're so excited to have Harry here and all the other health innovators that are really truly committed to results first, outcomes, and then sharing their model with the world, because it's tied to their purpose. So thank you so much for coming on. We're so excited to have you, Harry.
Thank you very much.